Hello, my board game loving dungeon crawl fans. I am Marcel, your lord of the games. If you follow my YouTube channel, you already know that I usually do all my reviews in German language. Which is because I am German. So what is different today? To understand that, you need to know that I do have a very good friend over there in the United States. His name is Roger Deering. Hello Roger, from Germany, nice greetings from me to you. Roger is the genius designer and creator of my long time awaited Dungeon Crusade, which was on Kickstarter a few years ago. Roger, I can't wait for your parcel to be delivered to me. So, Roger found my recent review from Sword and Sorcery a few days ago on YouTube while searching in the internet. You need to know that Roger is a great dungeon crawl fan, especially if they can be played solo. Now, Roger is American and he doesn't understand German very well. So he asked me if I can do him a great favor and try to translate this video review for him into English language. And as I really like you, Roger, here's my present from me to you, and I try to translate it. But please be careful and please understand that I'm not a native speaker and there may be a little mistakes when I try to do this in English. But now let's jump right into the action and talk about Sword and Sorcery. Sword and Sorcery from RS Games, designed by Gremlin Project, is an outstanding dungeon crawl experience for up to 5 players. We players take over the roles of fallen heroes whose immortal souls are resurrected to face the evil in the world once again. Immortal Souls, this is also the name of the entrance campaign of Sword and Sorcery. At first, Sword and Sorcery is a dungeon crawler with a very strong fantasy theme. The game takes us players by the hand with its evolving story campaigns. Second, the game offers a huge range of fantastic miniatures and other materials like plastic doors, chests, coins, cards, which look wonderful upon any board game table. But what was most important to me is the outstanding enemy mechanics, a mechanic I have seen in no other board game before. But let's stop talking at this point. What I will do is I will show you how characters work, I will show you how the enemy mechanic will work, and then I will show you a turn, an example turn, so that you know how Sword and Sorcery works. And then, in the end, I will tell you why this game is the most played game in the last 2 years in my board game group. To play Sword and Sorcery, you first have to decide if you want to play a scenario or a campaign. Please do me a great favor and always select campaign, as you would miss the story completely if you would select a single scenario. So we want to have a look at the characters. We take this character, she's our sorcerer, our mage. You can select one of both sides. This is Oriel the Frost Mage and this is Oriel the Fire Mage. When we select the Fire Mage, we also need this character card, which we have to put on the character sheet I have shown you a few seconds ago. Let's take a closer look. Here you see the name of Oriel the Enchantress. Yeah? She's a mage, this is her class. This is the alignment. You can have a chaotic alignment like her. You can have a good or neutral alignment. The alignment is interesting throughout the story campaign. Here in this part of the card you see the action. Oriel can take an action, an arcanist action, which gives her the opportunity to take an extra attack with a wand. Here on the bottom side of the card you can see that she has a basic backpack space of 3 items. Her save rolls succeed if she rolls a hit, and she can move 3 spaces. So we take this character card and place it on the board. So now I will give you a bit more space because we will need that. The most important part of every character after we choose it is the character dial, which is double-sided as the board too. You can see the frost variant and the fire variant. It has different stats, so we need to be careful to select the correct one. You can switch the dial here. As Oriel levels up, she gets stronger. But what do these numbers tell us? This is the level 1 Oriel, which has 3 life points. She also starts with 1 attack each round, and she has 1 action. Yeah? Also, she starts with no talents, there are no stars, but a number, and the number stands for powers. This character dial we place in the spot above the board. So what comes next? Every character selects a background talent. Here is the background talent card. And this card, for example, is the athlete. It's a background talent where she gets -1 life point, +1 movement speed, and +1 action. We put the card on the right side. So if you remember, the character dial allowed us to take 2 powers. These are Oriel's power cards. On the back side you see the downtimes. Every time we use a power card we have to shift it on the downtime here, and in the time phase we turn it, and if we have to turn it with the 1 then we can ready it up. So we select, for example, these 2 cards for 2 powers, which is the Drain Life card and the Magic Bolt. Let's take a closer look at the cards. You see that the Drain Life card is only available for chaotic characters with a chaotic alignment, which we chose for Oriel because the Fire Oriel is chaotic. This is an attack, and we have an attack. If you remember the dial, it works on 1 space away to the enemy, and if we attack with Drain Life, we can only use the level 1 attack, yeah, not the level 5. We have to level up before we use it. And if we use it, we take 3 dice, yeah. These are the dice. Let me show it to you. 1 red die and 2 blue dice. We throw them. And to the result of the throw we will add 1 automatically hit, and if we roll the flash we get an additional hit, and if we get a flash and a pentagram we get lethal 3. Lethal is not to be defended. And the great deal with this card is if we get a hit we heal as much health points as we did damage to the enemy. So we select this card as our first power. At the second card we select the Magic Bolt, and here's a new icon. We have to understand this is a free action, so we don't need to spend this action here, which is shown on the dial or on the background talent. Yeah, you see it? Yeah, here is the background talent, and on the dial you remember we had this action as well. She has 2 actions, but this costs no action. We can only use the level 1 Magic Bolt. The enemy suffers 1 HP. He cannot defend if he has to suffer, and it's 2 spaces away to be used from an enemy. So these are our powers. Now there is not much missing. On this side we can have backpack items. We have 3 spaces, and it is always good to have bandages. Yeah? To use bandages we have to spend an action. We can use it on any hero which is in our area, and if we use it, it heals 2 health points, and it also removes 1 body condition. Body conditions are poison, blindness, and so on. So here, this is a token which my group always refuses to take, but I like them. This diamond is always used when she is ready to be activated in a game round, and if we finish with her, we turn it to the inactive side. So, only 2 things missing. This is a wand. You can not have it at the beginning because it's a mystical item, but if you have it here, the mystic scepter, you see it can be equipped by a phase character or a magic character, which Oriel is. It's an attack, and the attack provides us with 1 red die and as many blue die as I have soul rank divided to 2. So in our case, soul rank 1, it's rounded up to 1 blue dice. The range is 2, and here you see a flash allows us to do an AOE effect, and the pentagram ignores the defense of the enemy. We put it here, and this is the last item. It's an offhand item. It's the Astral Cape, and the Astral Cape can be used with 2 blue dice on range 1, and this is great here. You see that? Have a look at that. You gain 1 magic shield, and the magic shield is very powerful in this game because it blocks damage which cannot be blocked by armor. Yeah. So here. Okay. Now Oriel is ready to play. Now you have seen how characters work, and I told you in the beginning what is most important to me with Sword and Sorcery are the enemy behavior, the enemy mechanics, and we have these wonderful scroll cards where on the back side of the scroll card you have a nice image of the enemy here. So let me find the enemy here. In this case it's the Nightwalker here, the Nightwalker. Or we have the Ifrit here, the Ifrit. And we have a demonic cultist. Didn't find the green one, so let's take the red one. Yeah. So you just see the name here and an image, and if you turn them around, yeah, there you have all the information you need to play Dungeon Crusade. Here in the middle you see the name again, you see the class of the enemy, and there, here, in the upper part of the card, you see the enemy behavior, yeah, and the favorite target of it. Now, how does this enemy cultist works? Every time the cultist is activated, he has to check if there is a hero in its space or 1 space away. If so, he attacks the hero which is mostly wounded. So, what does he then do? He moves to engage first. He definitely does that only if it's 1 space away. Then, if he has a charge token, he uses Summon Demon, which means he summons a demon or he controls a demon. If this is not possible, yeah, if it's not charged, he attacks with Ritual Daggers, which is his attack down there. Yeah? So, you have to know, if it is not possible to use this first rule, he skips to the second role. That means if there are no heroes in its area or 1 area away, he checks if there are enemies, if there are heroes 2 spaces away, then he uses the Arcane Bolt, and so on. And if none of these rules is to be applied, then he uses the plus roll. Yeah? He uses this also if he has no line of sight. So this is the enemy behavior. These here are the special attacks, the special rules for the cultist. Yeah, there are a lot of them, but you will understand them if you read it. And here are the different attacks. He has Ritual Dagger and Arcane Bolt, and the card here above the behavior will always tell you which rule and which weapon he uses. This is all you need to know. What's also cool with these enemies is that the enemies are given to players, yeah? Because you know, this is a cooperative game, and the enemies are played by the players, so there is nearly no downtime, because if you don't play with your heroes, you have to activate the enemies, yeah? So, there are several enemies in the base game, and in the expansions even more. Okay, these are the enemy mechanics. Let's have a look at the round at 1. Before we start with our example dungeon, it's a mini dungeon just to explain the core mechanics, I have to tell you, you cannot play with just 1 hero. You have to use, even if you play solo, at least 2 heroes. But for our explanation, 1 hero is enough. Every round we always start with the time phase. time phase, we have to take a look at the dial if there are any conditions. This is no body condition, it's a fire token, but the fire token, the fire hurts, you know that. It is burning one round, one time round. We have to throw it away, but it harms Oriel and she takes 1 damage. Now, in the time phase, her astral cape recharges and she gains 1 magic armor here. This token, yeah, the diamond, is to be readied. Yeah, it's not inactive, it's now active. And then the powers recharge if it is at 1. Yeah, so the magic bolt is ready to use. Now it's Oriel's turn. We players can decide which hero goes first, but in our case we just have 1 hero. Let me explain what Oriel can do. Oriel can walk 4 steps. She's an athlete plus her basic movement, 4 steps. She can use 2 actions, athlete plus the core action, and she can attack 1 time. I, as a player, can decide which of these things I will do first. What are actions? An action could be to open a chest. Let's put it here. If we make it here, we can open the chest. We can also open doors. We can also equip items, or we can use cards where we have that action symbol. Ah, look at the bandages. We could heal 2 health points. Yeah, Oriel has already 1 damage, but I will save the bandages. You will see later why I will do that. Also, if we are walking, we can dash 1 area forward. Yeah, she can walk 4 areas, I told you, and dashing means to go 1 area more than walking. And we can use an action also when we attack, so we save our 2 attacks from now. Okay, let's start with Oriel, and I will start with walking. 4 spaces, 1 space, 2 space, stop here. This is a waypoint. Waypoint 1. What does that mean? We have to consult the storybook. So, we open the storybook. On the scenario we are playing, this is not the scenario, it's just an example. And here, on the Book of Secrets, we have to find the waypoint, and it tells us where to read in the Book of Secret. Throw that storybook away. Take the Book of Secrets, open it, and look at the passage. It says us what to do, and usually it drives our story further. This is great. It also tells us what happens. There are enemies spawning, there are traps showing up, and often the waypoint is discarded. Let's do it this time. Okay, anyway, it's still her turn. 1, 2, she moves on. 3, check the line of sight from this cross to that cross. There you see the enemy marker. It is to be flipped. What does it say? Oh my god, an enemy is revealed. Every time that happens, we have to draw the top card of the enemy deck, flip it and see, this is a magic enemy, it's an Ifrit. It's not that vulnerable to arcane attacks. Poor Oriel. It has 2 magic shields, 5 health points. If we kill it, we get 15 coins and 1 soul. Yeah? We put it here with the 2 magic shields, and of course we have to select the correct card here, the enemy card. Here it is. I already explained that card mechanics. Yeah, put it here, and not to be forgotten, this is the miniature which is put here. Now we need a little more room here. I hope you can see that. Yeah, it's the board for the dice. Already moved 4 spaces. She's a magician, but I will move 1 more space, the 4th space anyway. Because here you see our Drain Life card, which has a range of 1. And now she is in range of 1 to the Ifrit. So let's attack him. And we will use one of our 2 actions. The action I have not talked about is focusing. If we focus, we get an additional hit. Additional to all what I'm throwing and what is written on the card. So let's take 1 red die and 2 blue dice. Here you see level 1. this is the result. It's not that bad. Yeah? Shields won't work while attacking. We have 1 hit, 2 hit, and 2 flashes. 2 hits, 2 flashes. So 2 hits, the automatic hit, are 3 hits, plus the action focus, 4 hits, you remember that? And we have 2 flashes. 1 flash is 5 hits. The other one will not work because the pentagram is missing. 5 hits. Remember, 5 hits. Now we have a look at the Ifrit. So, the Ifrit has the ability that arcane damage is to be reduced by 1. So it's just 4 damage. 2 of these damage points go into the magic armor. So there are just 2 left. 2 damage he has to suffer at this place. So, Drain Life has now a cooldown of 2 rounds. Just in case that we forgot anything. See, burning. When the enemy dies, it is still alive. Fire shield. Oh my god, if this enemy suffers damage, the attacker suffers fire 1. So poor Oriel is burning again, but she did 2 damage with her drain life, and so she heals up to 2 life. My turn is still not over, because I still have 1 action and, of course, the recharged magic bolt, which is a free action, and Oriel will use it to deal 1 damage, which the Ifrit has to suffer, and then the cooldown is 2 rounds. 2. 1 additional damage for the Ifrit, yeah, now it's 3 instead of 2. Oh my god, the Ifrit is still alive and I don't know what to do. I can still dash away, but this will do no difference as the Ifrit, if he activates in the encounter phase, he will attack her anyway. Yeah. So what do I do? What do I do? The bandages won't work, as this is no body condition. I will finish my turn at this place. I will finish it and I will see what the encounter phase brings. Every time a hero is finished with his turn, he flips over this diamond. Yo, my mates, don't remember? You always fail to flip that over. And we have to check if there are enemies on the board. Of course, the Ifrit is still on the board, it's alive, and we have to draw the top encounter card. Now something is happening. So what is happening? Oh my god, there's a scout. It says activate 1 enemy, and if it's not possible to activate 1, then spawn 1 enemy. Yeah, of course we can activate 1 of the enemies. We can activate the Ifrit. Every time we activate the Ifrit, we have to check the card I explained to you. First rule, is there a hero in his spot? Of course there is no hero. Are there any heroes in 1 to 2 spots away? Poor Oriel, it's her. So, this rule applies and we have to continue reading. If the enemies control the victim's area, move to engage. But there are no enemies in the victim's area, so skip that sentence and we have to read on. Attack with Flame Strike. Oh my god, poor Oriel is attacked with Flame Strike. Flame Strike does 1 automatic damage plus the result of the 2 red dice. Plus, her armor is reduced by 1. Doesn't matter, she doesn't have armor, just magic armor. If a flash is thrown, then she's burning even more, and the AOA is not important as there are no other heroes at this time. Okay, please remember, Flame Strike does 1 automatic damage plus the result of 2 red die. Aha, you see? 1, 2, the automatic, plus a pentagram. So, the Flame Strike is bursting, every hero is attacked, but there are no other heroes. Then 3 damage to poor Oriel, and poor Oriel has a magic armor here. The magic armor absorbs 1 damage, then there are 2 left. 2 left, she gets 2 damage tokens. And now we need to take a closer look. Oriel has 3 life points. 3 life points are reduced by 1 because she's an athlete. 3 minus 1 is 2. Oh my god, she's gone. Yeah, Oriel is done and she's transformed into a ghost because her soul is immortal. We switch her character card and look what we got here. This is the ghost form. In ghost form she has some new skills until she is resurrected. For our example, she can't be resurrected because at any time, if there are no heroes except ghost heroes, the game is over. But if there would be any surviving heroes, the game would go on. For our example, yeah, you throw the damage away, even the fire away, and here is the ghost form. Now, this is the enemy encounter phase, and the game round ends with the event phase. Okay, I put the dice away and here's the event deck. After each hero is activated once, we have to take the upmost event card, we flip it over and we read it. Here you see story event 2. Read and apply the story event effects described in the storybook. Look at the storybook again. Search in the bottom right corner for the story event 2 in the Book of Secrets. You already know the Book of Secrets. Here it is. Search for the story event 2. Yeah, story event 1. La la la. And here the story goes on again. And this is one round. Now we would have to continue with the next time phase. So, this is the core mechanics of Sword and Sorcery. Let's see what I like most about this game. Now you want to know why I love this game and why this game was played over 40 times on my table during the last 2 years. Okay, you know I'm a story fanatic and this game is full of story. The story evolves through several campaigns which are driven by waypoints, by events, by these books, and we as heroes are part of the story. Like that very, very much. Second, I love material, I love bling. I love miniatures. I love these metal coins, I love these 3D elements. They look great on the table. What I like most about Sword and Sorcery is the enemy mechanics. Why that? There is no other dungeon crawler on the board game market that I know which provides our enemies with scroll cards like these. The scroll cards provide them, the enemies, with rules which you have to check which rule applies, and the priority target. You remember what I told you? Every time an enemy is activated, we have to check if there's a hero in its space. And if the rule doesn't apply, we have to skip the rule and look if the next rule applies. And if this rule doesn't apply either, we have to move down until we get the plus rule. And every time we find a rule that applies, we have to take a look here on the upper part of the card for its preferred target. The preferred target can be a magic character, dexterity character, wounded character, and with these priority list, we have enemies that react to the situation they are in, and that makes the system, the mechanics, very, very authentic. For me, it's the most authentic enemy mechanics I have ever met. So this is outstanding. With all these enemies, with the boss enemies, which behave in a completely different manner. We have a huge replayability because there are different enemies and there are not always the same enemies which show up. So remember, you have an enemy system which is so realistic, like no other system you've ever seen. This is why I love this dungeon crawler. This is everything you need to know, yeah? These are just the mechanics I told you. I didn't get into detail very much, but I think now you do know everything you have to know to decide if this is a game for you. I tell you, if you love Dungeoncrawler, if you love deep strategy and mechanics, if you love story, if you like miniatures, at least get the core game, try it out for yourself. This is what I can do for you at this time. Okay, that was it. Nothing more to say. I hope you had fun. If you liked my video, just give me a thumb up. You can also give me an abo, then you will never miss my videos. So, have a good time while playing your board games. Good night from Germany. We will see again.